Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the football betting series here on YouTube Premier League edition. We took last weekend off thanks to the international break, but we're back at it again with another round of Premier League fixtures. Our March record is 21 wins, 6 defeats with 3 pushes, and a total monthly profit of £131.20. Adding that to our January and February data, and our overall record stands at this: 54 wins, 19 losses with 6 pushes, and we're at £385.55 profit. If you think I'm talking some sense in today's video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into our picks for this weekend, the 30th and 31st of March. We kick things off with 11th place Chelsea playing host to 19th place Burnley, and Chelsea beat Newcastle by 3-2 in their most recent league match. The Blues took an early lead, and despite Isaac pegging them back, Chelsea showed great resilience to pull away once again, winning that game and taking the 3 points. This does mean that the Blues of West London are now unbeaten in their last 4 league games, and as such, Chelsea fans will be hoping that the Blues can finish strong for the rest of the season. They host Burnley, who surprised a few of their fans by managing to pick up a win against a really poor Brentford side, who had 10 men for the majority of the match. It was Burnley's first win in 12 league games, a run that stretches back to December of last year. And whilst the win is great, they do need to repeat that feat at least 3 more times in their final 9 matches if they're to have any hope of getting out of the relegation zone. That's assuming that Forest fail to pick up any more points and dodge their point deduction from the FA. Head to head, despite Burnley making the breakthrough in the reverse fixture, Chelsea did run out convincing 4-1 winners. Goals from Jackson, Sterling, and Palmer capped off a relatively easy win for the Blues. I can't see much changing in this one, to be honest. Burnley may have a bit more confidence following their first win in 2024, but Chelsea's unbeaten run in the Premier League and the clear golfing class between the two sides doesn't give me much doubt in looking at a home win here. I'm going to be backing Chelsea to win in our first bet of the episode for a full stake. Our second selection sees bottom of the league, 20th place Sheffield United playing host to 12th place Fulham, and Sheffield drew their most recent game 2-2 against Bournemouth. Now, this draw does stop a 3-game losing streak for the Blades, but they are now winless in their last 4, and they have only 1 win in their last 12 Premier League matches. The away side, Fulham, well, they shocked a few neutrals with their 3-0 win against 5th place Spurs recently. Stats-wise, it looks like Fulham gave as good as they got and were perhaps fortunate not to concede a goal or two, but they were very good value going forwards in the final third. This does mean that the Cottagers have now won 3 of their last 4 games, bouncing back from their 2-1 defeat to Wolves. Head-to-head, well, Fulham won the reverse fixture quite comfortably by 3-1. When we look at the statistics, they had 4 times the amount of shots and almost 4 times the amount of XG, whilst controlling the majority of the possession. To be honest, it wasn't too much of a challenge for them to win that game, and I can't really see things changing here. Fulham are away from home where they have struggled this year. However, Sheffield are literally the worst team in the league at home this season, and for that reason, I'm going to be backing the away side Fulham for a full stake in bet number 2. Our third bet today sees 15th place Brentford playing host to 6th place Manchester United. And really, Brentford have been on a pretty horrid run over the last month. 5 losses and 1 draw in their last 6 Premier League games has seen the Bees slip all the way down the table and perhaps even been sucked into that relegation conversation. This poor run of form was extended in their most recent game as they lost 2-1 to Burnley. Okay, they were down to 10 men for the vast majority of the game, but many will feel not picking up any points against Burnley is a real low point for the season. They host a Manchester United side who won their most recent Premier League game against Everton. In the last episode, I critiqued Manchester United for only winning that game thanks to 2 penalty decisions, which were converted, and I raised questions about where the goals are coming from. Well, United definitely answered those questions in their 4-3 extra time win in the FA Cup against Liverpool. They had 4 goals scored from 4 different goal scorers and will now have a semi-final tie against Coventry, which will have Manchester United fans dreaming of lifting a trophy this season. Back to this game, however, looking at the head-to-head record, Manchester United won the reverse fixture by 2-1 at Old Trafford. They did need to rely on Scott McTominay's 2 stoppage time goals to rescue 3 points. But looking back a bit further, United have really dominated the recent fixtures, winning 4 of the last 5, and the only hiccup there being when Brentford won by 4-0 in a real disaster at the start of Ten Hag's tenure. It was a real shock, and with Brentford's current form, I really can't see them getting anywhere close to that 4-0 performance. I am leaning towards Manchester United here, and if you're feeling brave, you could back Manchester United to win at better than even money. However, I'm still not quite a believer in this United side, and I think the international break gives players an excuse to take their foot off the pedal a bit here. I was toying with the idea of Manchester United to win at a half stake, but I think I'll sleep a little easier by laying Brentford for a full stake around the 1-2 mark. Our fourth and final selection in today's episode is perhaps one of the biggest games of the season. Third place Manchester City play host to table topping Arsenal, and the Citizens drew their most recent league game 1-1 against fellow title challengers Liverpool, a game in which the balance was probably right and a draw was deserved. However, Guardiola and co would have been disappointed in the manner of Liverpool's equaliser, as Ederson was caught out and gave away a pretty cheap penalty, which denied the City the opportunity to hit the front. In terms of form, City's 2-0 win against Arsenal in the FA Cup quarter-finals brings their unbeaten streak to 13 in the Premier League and 22 in all competitions. The away side Arsenal, well, they extended their winning run to 8 in the Premier League when they beat Brentford by 2-1 at the Emirates. After this, they went on to beat Porto on penalties to reach the quarter-finals of the Champions League just ahead of the international break, and Arsenal have had 19 days to prepare for this league title clash. Head-to-head, Arsenal won the reverse fixture by 1-0 thanks to Gabriel Martinelli's late goal, and Arsenal hold the accolade of being one of a few teams to avoid defeat against Manchester City this year. They also won the curtain raiser in the Community Shield on penalties as well, so it's Arteta 2, Guardiola 0. Man City will hope to resume business as usual as they won last year's league matches by 3-1 and 4-1, as well as winning all 8 games between October of 2020 and April of 2023. So, what's the angle for this game? To be honest, this has been quite a tricky game to analyse. Over 2.5 goals looks the way to go based on the averages. I haven't committed to it because Man City have seen under 2.5 goals in their last 2 games in a row and their last 5 out of 6 Premier League games. Additionally, the last 2 head-to-head encounters have seen under 2.5 goals. So whilst I could see goals in this game, there's not really that much of a statistical narrative to support that notion. Also, a side isn't that clear to me. I could really see both teams winning, and I put the draw as a possibility as well. So I'm firmly on the fence in taking a side. But I think I have found an angle. And that's over in the sportsbook under bet builders, looking at goals to be scored in both halves. For Manchester City, this has happened in their most recent Premier League game against Liverpool, and it also happened in the United and Chelsea games, so in 3 of the last 5, or 2 of the last 3 games at the Etihad. For Arsenal, well, they've seen a goal scored in both halves in their most recent game against Brentford, which continued a run of 6 straight Premier League games where a goal has been scored in both halves. At fractional odds of 4-7 or 1.57, I think this is the best shout to not only think that the bet will come in, but also allow a neutral like myself to enjoy the game, and I will be backing this for a full stake in the final bet of the episode. So there we have it, 4 selections in today's episode, 3 on the Saturday and 1 on the Sunday, starting off with Chelsea versus Burnley. We're going to be backing the home side at odds of 1.32, a £30 stake to return £9.60. Sheffield United play Fulham, and we're backing the away side for another full stake, odds of 1.76, £30 to return 22.80. We're also going to be laying the home side Brentford against Manchester United, odds of 1.41, a £30 stake will return £12.50. And then a goal to be scored in both halves on the Sunday match, Man City versus Arsenal, odds of 1.57, a full stake of £30 to return 17.40. So across our weekends, we're going to be risking £120 to hopefully pick up as much as £62.04. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.